So we have two Martzen beers from Treehouse.
Treehouse?
Brisk and Whisper is the name of each, and we believe, we are going to guess that they are the same beer, except one goes into some oak.
Right. Well, we know that one goes into oak. We just don't know if they're the same base beer. But
Right. I think the statistics, that's what I was wondering about the light, if we wanted to, like it says the gravity and the alcohol and the ingredients and it's all that
the
stuff.
ingredients are the same minus the oak. They're both German style Marzen beer at 5.3 ABV. I believe they're base beer, oakified version, horizontal oak conditioning tanks, and the can art is identical. It's a person in a canoe looking all good. I think there's a dog, some leaves falling. Perfect. The question I suppose we're asking ourselves
Right.
is, do we get oak off of Brisk?
Not like you do in a barrel-aged beer that has all the bourbon and vanilla and all of those kind of flavors. But I don't know how long it's in the oak, and I don't know how, if the oak is, I don't know, de-oaked of its oakiness.
It says American oak. It doesn't necessarily say if it's like charred, uncharred, been through 5 other beers. Just American oak. I'm going to be willing to bet it's virgin American oak.
Oh, really?
I would think so.
Then it would be really oaky then.
Because that's what a lot of people do with the lagers. Like
Oh.
the foeders that Modest does and stuff.
Well, my first takeaway on the plain one is it is a damn nice tasting beer. I mean, it is really a professionally made, top-notch beer.
These guys should make money.
These guys should
for
start a
making this
brewery,
beer.
man. Oh wait, this ain't a home brew.
No,
it has a little bit of hop bitterness, which is nice. But man, the malt character is. Let's see what we got. I mean, it's bready. It's not like isn't too much Munich or Vienna. It's a little less sweet than some Oktoberfests, which I think is nice. Then in the end is a little bit of hop bitterness.
Yeah, you can tell by even the color. The Pils is higher in the mix, but
Which
I do get a difference in Brisk. I get this this other kind of layer of dryness, this almost like cheek, this kind of cheek draining dryness. That's not just gravity, that is probably some tannic.
Okay.
I don't know that I would have guessed it if someone had not told me, but knowing it,
Right.
and to your point, it's not wood aged as in like all this vanilla and all this bourbon.
Yeah, it's
because
not
it
a
never had
bourbon.
bourbon in
That's
it.
true.
Right.
That's not a bourbon beer.
I think this kind of just helps to put almost another kind of malty flavor, but a drier mouthfeel, which is interesting because to do that, otherwise you would have another malt, ferment it differently. I like this actually. It's almost kind of fest beery in the way that it comes off slightly more bitter and dry, but it's clearly very close to, if not the same beer.
Well, in an Oktoberfest, is there any sort of expectation of the alcohol being higher than 5%? If they can be.
They can be, for
also
sure.
Just be.
I think it's actually
5%?
about the range that
Okay.
it should be, even though Summits is almost 7 on its own. Then you get something like Uber Oktoberfest that Liney's does. It's like 9.
Yeah, I thought some of them were higher.
I think Fest beers are supposed to be more like 4 to 5, and then Oktoberfests or Martens are 5 to 7.
Maybe in the oak one, I get a little bit of extra. Maybe this is what you're saying, like I would maybe say the word tannic bitterness or something like that. But I don't know if that is from the wood.
It could be the descriptor, leading the jury. But when you go back to Whisper, you definitely feel a fuller, sweeter, denser, toasty finish. I think. The base beer itself is so rich that it's not like this is going to be extremely different since it doesn't have spirits and chocolate and coffee beans.
The more I
and
go
all
back and forth, the more I feel like this one has a little bit overall more of a bitter result, bit effect, and so I kind of find myself preferring this one because this is
Yeah.
kind of what I want. This isn't making it more dry necessarily, but it does give it a slightly different result. It's pretty subtle though.
Yeah. And I think that's what people don't understand about a lot of beers that are being marketed as like aged in wood is like, well, if it's not wood that had a freaking rum or a bourbon in it,
It's a good point.
it's actually going to be, I
Right.
see a lot of like oak aged pilsners getting knocked because they're like,
Oh,
where was the weird thing I was expecting? And you're like, well, don't expect it. It's just wood.
yeah, maybe I also was being that person myself. I'm thinking it was gonna be gonna be.
Bad
See, if
beer
I
nerd.
if I could put in sound effects, that would be a great time to
Pow.
do it. Yeah, Batman caption. These are excellent, and
Yeah.
whenever we bozos in Minnesota get to try Trillium or Treehouse or those types of beers, it's just such a treat. I mean, it is really generous of any of you people that send us this stuff. And Scott, you are one of those people. And so yeah, we will finish these. They are fading fast like our sunshine. Daylight savings time has ended or begun. It's ended.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we're dark. We're getting real dark, and we're going into the deep dark winter. But these beers,
Will help us.
I'm gonna
Thank you,
cut.
Dono.
I gotta cut
For
this
Don
out.
Osborne, I'm Chip Walton.
Cut it out. Anywho, thanks for sending as always. This was really fun to try these two. Subtle difference, but maybe there is a little bit difference. Thanks for having me to the backyard and drinking my beer.
Drinking Scott's beer.
Scott's beer. That he sent us. All right. Catch you later.
That last minute's gonna be a lot of jump cuts.
How am I gonna edit that?
I don't think you do. I think you just let people see that that's like. Well, I